Shalom, all esteemed to the Most High Yahuwah. This channel is dedicated to awakening the so-called Negroes, aka the Bantu Israelites, scattered inside and outside the continent of Africa, to those in the Caribbean, the Americas, and the four corners of the earth of African descent. This channel serves the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob only. This channel rejects the lies of the Christian book called the New Testament, created by the offspring of Lucifer to deceive the Israelites into idolatry. This channel is also dedicated to exposing these lies and revealing scriptural truth. Shalom, family. Hope you guys are well. I wanted to come here and go through this verse that I was just reading the other day. I feel like this verse helps support what I have been showing you guys here on this channel, especially in regards to Isaiah 14:19 through 22. So this verse specifically here describes a certain group of people and certain characteristics that also tie directly to the children of Lucifer. And we're going to read this verse in Wisdom of Solomon, and we're going to see what people group that it seems to describe here in the text. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. And we're just going to read through the whole thing. For the unrighteous said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright, our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy, neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. For we are all born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart. So right here, it's describing a wicked people who are describing themselves as having a very short life. A very short life. I think this describes a certain group of people, but let's keep reading. Verse 3. Which have been extinguished. Our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air. And our names shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance. And our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with the heat thereof. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait. Right here in verse 4, it says that they will be driven away and dispersed as mist with the beams of the sun and overcome with the heat. Now, family, does this sound like people, a people group who you would consider to be melanated? Driven away with the beams of the sun and overcome with heat. Yeah, we are not describing melanated people here.
We're launching a new series here tonight, something we're calling The Big Question. The first one, inspired by news of more than 1,000 heat-related deaths in Europe. The continent has more heat-related deaths per capita than anywhere else on the planet, but in fact, fewer hot days. So why is the heat in Europe so much deadlier than everywhere else? Here's Lee Canary with our big question.
In Europe, there's a perfect storm, the oldest population on any continent that's warming the fastest. France's record heat last week is linked to roughly 1,000 deaths of mostly elderly.
Of all climate-related impacts and hazards, heat is the biggest killer.
European officials are calling for change, but not the kind that may seem obvious.
Install air conditioning, especially for vulnerable people, and save lives. Why is that not a solution in Europe?
My honest response is I don't think that should be the solution anywhere. In the longer term, what happens is installing more air conditioning actually emits more heat into our environment, so it will actually increase the speed of warming.
It's also more expensive. Energy prices are much higher in Europe. Governments find other ways to cool historic and densely populated cities. In Rome, wearable technology is distributed to monitor the elderly, who are by far in the most danger. A recent survey in France said 1 in 6 people they surveyed said they'd rather suffer for the sake of the environment. Does that surprise you?
No, we're not doing this for us. We're doing this for the future generations.
Lee Canary, CBS News, London.
France is warning its death toll will likely rise as more details are learned about those affected by last week's record-breaking heat wave. Its public health agency estimates that more than 1,000 additional deaths were linked to the scorching temperatures that took place from Wednesday to Friday last week.
Half of all Americans are bracing for a prolonged and dangerous heat wave, and it could peak at the start of the July 4th holiday. Sorry, guys. Right when many of us will be outside for parades and barbecues, the temperatures in some places in the eastern U.S. could be the hottest in over a decade. CNN meteorologist Derek Van Dam here with the very latest. The National Weather Service is telling us that this heat wave is different and to pay attention and be warned. What can we expect?
It's because of the humidity. The humidity is going to be off the charts, and that makes it so much harder for your body to regulate the heat and cool itself down properly. 50 million Americans or more will experience triple-digit temperatures this week leading into the 4th of July holiday weekend. Terrible timing, Mother Nature. Why do we have to do it now, right? All of us want to be outdoors. Here's a look at what Chicago looked like at sunset last night. I like to see people doing their activities late at night because, of course, that helps minimize the amount of sun exposure you get. But this is how warm it could feel today in the Windy City.
All right, as many are celebrating the holiday, as we just heard about from Chris and Cameron, thousands are facing dangerous heat and widespread power outages. Officials in New Jersey say that as of Thursday, 19 people have now died, believed to be of heat-related conditions and concerns.
Right? The sun's like, hey, go back to where you came from. England's cloudy for a reason.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now...
Guys, let me know how I'm literally 5 different colors.
Step, 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 step. Yes, are on the beat like, yeah. Let the beat ride like, yeah. Yes, are on the beat like step, step, yeah. Let the beat ride like.
But let's keep reading. For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and our end there is no returning to it. for it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again. So right here, they are also making a distinction between them and the other group or the other people. It says our time. So they're given a certain length of time. Our time is a shadow that passeth away, and our end there is no returning. Okay? So once this wicked group is wiped out, that's it.
Do you think now, when we have discovered in Amsterdam that we have a minority problem, that we are doing the same thing?
You are doing exactly the same thing. And what you are unable to accept is this. You always call it a minority problem. And it's true that black or non-white people are minority in any European capital. But we are not a minority in the world. You are the minority. And that's what you cannot face. All you really have, after all, are space shuttles, banks, and weapons. What you don't have anymore is me. And you only, me, I the slave, I the nigger, I the black cat who believed everything you said once.
Welcome back to Tokyo to LA. We're here with
Emily B.
Emily B. Where are you from, Emily?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, that's awesome. So for you, black guys or white guys?
Black guys.
Can you elaborate as to why specifically black guys?
Yes, black guys are melanated, and I want my children to survive, and I know that the only way for them to survive in the future is for them to have melanin in their skin. So that's the way for me to, make my legacy continue.
Okay, I like that answer. That's actually a really unique answer. We were here yesterday. We didn't encounter that answer yet.
It's said by Francis Welsing.
What is
you see, meaning that if
you and I were to have a baby, the baby would have color, and you make the contribution and I don't.
That white plus colored. Well, wait a minute. It's not Francis Welsing that is concerned about the disappearance of white. Ben Wattenberg just wrote a book, The Birth Dearth. There have been multiple articles in the newspaper talking about the decline of Western populations.
Yeah, here's the Washington Post, just to name one. We are a depopulation bomb, the withering of the Western world. Here, incidentally, this was the percentage of the West's population in 1900, the turn of this century, about 30%. This is where we'll be less than 10% in the year 2075. Here's where we are about today, 15. So we're not having babies.
So whites are not having babies, and there is the concern about white genetic annihilation. In other words, I look at, this is Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday holiday, and people will say, well, here's a man who talked about love. Yeah. Why was he killed? And I say that the deeper logic is, what if all black and white people and non-white people and white people love? What would happen to white people? White would disappear. You see, just mix all of the people on the planet up together.
In other words, if race didn't matter, or if color didn't matter, it follows with the jet plane.
No, I'm not saying if it didn't matter. I'm saying that indeed if there was a mingling of all of the people, because
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, fine.
Absence of prejudice.
The ability, wait, don't confuse what I'm saying. I'm saying that if we mixed all of the people presently on the planet, stirred them up,
the white freckle-faced people would be gone.
Genetic recessive status would disappear. And that if I did a survey and everybody didn't have to, face anybody, if I said how many people who are white want their children to be white, want their grandchildren to be white, want their great-grandchildren to be white, want their great-great-grandchildren to be white. And I've gone all over the country in England and asked this question. Yeah. Everybody wants the children and the generations to remain white. Yes. If you do, then you have to do something to make sure that that happens. And I say that what the thing is that is done, and particularly in relationship to black non-whites, because we have the greatest genetic potential to cause white genetic annihilation.
Because you're the blackest.
Because we, right.
The most color.
Right, we have this ability to produce melanin pigment. The New York Times had an article talking about the percentage of people who want a tan. 66%. I have the article if anybody wants to look at it later. 66% of white adults think they look better with a tan. 70% of white adolescents think they look better with a tan. What do white people? Ooh, I look so pale. Now, this is not something that Francis Welsing is putting on people. White females even say their ideal mate is who? Tall, dark, and handsome.
Let's keep reading. Verse 6. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. Now, when I first read this scripture, the first thing that came to my mind was 1 Enoch chapter 7, where it describes the creatures of your youth. We're going to see who this is talking about. Let's look at 1 Enoch chapter 7. 1 Enoch chapter 7 verses 4 through 6. So the giants turned against the people in order to eat them, and they began to sin against birds, beasts, reptiles, and fish. And their flesh was devoured one by the other, and they drank blood. And then the earth brought an accusation against the oppressors. So you can see here, it says in 1 Enoch chapter 7 verse 5 that these Nephilim were having activities with the animals and creating these animal-human hybrids. And we know that they're still doing that today, and they were also drinking blood.
Knows what he would have looked like or been like if it wasn't for me. I guess drank each other's blood might mislead people, or like people are imagining us with like goblets and we're like Game of Thrones drinking each other's blood. It's just a few drops, but yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes only. It is used for a reason, and it is controlled where it's like, let's shed a few drops of blood and each drink it. He's much more haphazard and hectic and chaotic, where he's willing to just like cut his chest open with broken glass and be like, take my soul, let me bleed on you. It doesn't not happen, let me tell you. Maybe not exactly like that, but a version of that has happened.
Empowering, like dominant. Me and 13 absolutely enjoy it, and it makes me feel more empowered and more barbaric in a sense. I do crave the iron taste, the bloody taste, the texture. If you love that, you can't get over that taste. Like, it is amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and you will forever crave that. The meat by the bone, oh my God. I've been eating raw meat since I was 2 years old.
I had these obsessive desires and thoughts wanting to control them, to, I don't know how to put it, possess them permanently.
And that's why you killed them?
Right, right. Not because I was angry with them, not because I hated them, but because I wanted to keep them with me. And as my obsession grew, I was saving body parts such as skulls and skeletons.
Jeffrey Dahmer is recalling his monstrous past. Almost 2 years ago, in this little apartment in Milwaukee, police discovered the grisly remnants of one of the most horrible crime sprees in American history. Jeffrey Dahmer, an unassuming chocolate factory worker, would eventually confess that he had seduced, murdered, and dismembered 17 young men. He even ate some of his victims' body parts. He instantly became the center of worldwide media attention, a serial killer unmasked. There were protests and press conferences in Milwaukee as people tried to understand how this could have happened in their midst. How did Jeffrey Dahmer get away with murder after murder for 13 years? How did a boy born into a hard-working middle-class family turn into the worst kind of monster imaginable? In this exclusive interview, we put those questions to Jeffrey Dahmer himself. We met with him at the maximum security prison where he is serving his sentence of 999 years. For the first time, he talks about his crimes and gives us a chilling look inside the mind of a serial killer.
So now we understand when it says the creatures of the youth, of their youth, this was when they were sinning against beasts.
Thanks, Joe. 3 Clearfield County men are facing charges after police say they had sex with at least 12 animals several times a week for more than 4 years. Matthew Brubaker, Terry Wallace, and Mark Miesnikoff allegedly sexually abused 9 horses, multiple dogs, a cow, and a goat at their property on Mouse Road in Munson. They also allegedly forced a teenage boy who was living there to help them restrain the animals while they committed the offenses and crimes. The animals are being cared for by the Clearfield County SPCA. The Clearfield County District Attorney tells us this is one of the worst animal abuse cases he's ever had to deal with.
Yeah, we've had this type of case before. We haven't had this volume of a case, so this is probably the most severe example of this type of conduct that we've had, at least here in Clearfield County.
Tonight, the 3 men are facing thousands of counts of sexual intercourse with an animal and cruelty to animal charges, as well as endangering the welfare of a child charge. Their preliminary hearing set for Wednesday, August 22nd.
Virginia woman is charged after a disturbing video showing abuse of a dog. According to deputies with the Alamance County Sheriff's Office, 29-year-old Sydney Bayless is now charged with felony crimes against nature. Back in May, deputies said they were made aware of a video showing sexual acts involving a dog. Officials said they learned this happened in southern Alamance County. According to court records, it happened in early 2023. Bayless is out of jail after posting her $3,000 bond.
And we can look at statistics and we can see that that is something that is still very much going on today. All right, so going back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, going back to verse 7. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. Okay, so these individuals would live very deliciously off the earth. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, for this is our portion, and our lot is this. So this wicked people, for a time, as it says, they have a time. It says our time, in our time. They have a predestined time that they are able to live deliciously, conquer the earth, conquer peoples, conquer nations, oppress people, and do all types of evil. But eventually their time would come.
That notion of giving civilized values and modes of behavior to other peoples, that's the ideology that underpinned the empire.
In the empire that the missionaries and abolitionists set out to create, indigenous peoples would see their cultures destroyed and their religions eradicated. And yet all this seems almost benign when compared with the grim reality of what imperialism became. Because during the 19th century, their dream was gradually overwhelmed by another vision. One that claimed that the dark races could not be civilized and should instead be exterminated. The event that began the slow collapse of the missionaries' vision took place in a then little-known outpost of Britain's vast and expanding empire. This is Tasmania, on the southern coast of Australia. What the British did on this small island was to resonate down through the Victorian age. When the British started to settle in Tasmania in 1803, they encountered the ancient Aboriginal peoples of the island. Only 5,000 strong, they had lived in complete isolation for 10,000 years, on the very edge of the habitable world. The settlers saw these people through ideas brought with them from Europe.
Quite early you get expressions of disgust and shock about the way the Tasmanians lived. To the Europeans it appeared that the Tasmanians were without culture, they were without religion, they were godless. So they looked upon the Tasmanians as people who'd been left behind by history, And they also related to a very popular idea of the late 18th century, that is the great chain of being, that the various races of humankind were arranged in hierarchical order, and that the Tasmanians were uniquely savage and primitive, and therefore can be treated almost as animals.
The British set about building a new capital and settling the surrounding countryside, land that for millennia had been the prime hunting ground of the Aboriginals. Out in these fields and pastures, far from the control of the authorities, the settlers were free to displace and abuse the Aboriginals.
From the 1820s.
The Aborigines were deemed to be subhuman, little more than animals, which was to justify not only the theft of their land, but their extermination. An edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica, still in circulation when I was at school, described them as only an animal of prey, more ferocious than the leopard or the hyena. He devours his own species. So they were hunted and raped and massacred. And few doubted at the time that genocide was official policy. A government report in the 1850s spoke of the success of poisoning Aborigines, 100 of them laid out at a time. But until quite recently, little of this was even acknowledged. In Tasmania, the Aborigines were said to have died out. In fact, they were hunted along with kangaroos and almost wiped out. In New South Wales, by 1845, the tribe who had watched Captain Cook sail here into Botany Bay was reduced to 3 women and a man. In Victoria, an Aborigine called Old Mr. Burt recalled this story told by his mother.
They buried our babies with only their heads above the ground. All in a row they were. Then they had a test to see who could kick the babies' heads off the furthest. One man clobbered a baby's head off from horseback. They then spent most of the day raping the women. Most of them were then tortured to death by sticking sharp things like spears up their vaginas until they died. They tied the men's hands behind their backs, then cut off their penis and testicles, and watched them run around screaming until they died.
One of the most enduring myths about the Aborigines is that they did not fight back. In fact, a war of resistance lasted more than a century, some of it here on the banks of the Hawkesbury River, north of Sydney. During the 1930s, my father built a cottage here, on the beach at an Aboriginal place called Patonga. I think we knew that somebody had lived at Patonga at some time, but no one talked about it. In fact, an entire nation had lived here on and off for thousands of years. They were called the Jurag, a unique Aboriginal people, tall and slender, whose country extended to a 40-mile radius north of Sydney, and the mighty Hawkesbury River was theirs. And when the British established the town of Windsor in the early 1800s, a great war began. This war was not recorded in the Imperial Chronicles of Australia. Growing up here, I knew nothing about it, and I suspect that's still true of the people in the smart beach houses here today. And yet the Jurag inflicted on the British a casualty rate greater than that sustained by the Australian Armed Forces during all of World War II. And finally, after 22 years, outnumbered and without guns, they went down fighting to the last man, woman and child, a complete nation. Today, in a land of many cenotaphs and war memorials on which invariably is written, "Lest we forget," not one of them stands for those who fought and fell in their own country. By the 1920s, the British invasion had caused the deaths of at least 250,000 black Australians. Genocide on a massive scale. But this fact remained suppressed, except in the living memory of those who survived. Here in the Northern Territory, in the great isolated heartland of Australia, the killing of Aborigines continued well into the 20th century, and most of these also remained secret. However, in 1928, 150 miles from Alice Springs, a gang of police and cattlemen massacred at least 50 Aborigines, perhaps many more, and word got out. A public inquiry was held, and its findings were summarized in these 3 words: the shooting was justified. In giving evidence, Constable William Murray said, "We shot to kill. What use is a wounded blackfella 100 miles from civilized Australia?" The nation on the other side of the frontier has risen from its deathbed and has begun to fight back. And what a spectacle it is. As the first Australians challenge some of the greatest transnational companies in the world, and governments, and historians, and assumptions and attitudes, and disease and neglect, in order that they may claim back their share of the oldest continent, their country. This film is a glimpse of their epic story. When Captain Cook landed here in Botany Bay, he was under orders not to raise the Union Jack without the consent of the inhabitants of Australia. But Cook and Captain Arthur Phillip, who followed with the first fleet of convicts, both disobeyed these instructions. And what followed was one of the darkest and least known periods in the history of Britain's empire. The British declared Australia an empty land, in spite of the fact that there were tribes with a total population of at least 300,000, perhaps as many as 1 million. No one knew exactly, because the first Australians were not counted as human beings. Decimation was swift. Aboriginal blood carried no resistance to white disease. Lieutenant Brady, Royal Marines, reported in 1788, "From the great number of dead natives found in every part of Sydney Harbour, it appears that the smallpox has made dreadful havoc among them." But not nearly as much havoc as massacre. No British colony was born under so cruel a star as Australia. The early convict ships had brought thousands of white slaves, mostly English and Irish, transported for crimes of poverty and politics. And they became the instruments of massacre, directed by Christian gentlemen who had brought with them attitudes of racial superiority that were the staple of empire. Ironically, their cruelty was at odds with liberal reformers in Britain who were then seeking to end the slave trade. In 1837, a House of Commons Select Committee condemned the atrocities against the Aborigines. But the difference between sympathy and action was a convenient 15,000 miles.
I am calling a corroboree of all the natives of New South Wales to send a petition to the King in an endeavour to improve our condition. All the black man wants is representation in federal parliament. There is also plenty of fish in the river for us all, and land to grow all we want. 150 years ago, the Aboriginals owned Australia, and today he demands more than the white man's charity. He wants the right to live.
At that time, the 1930s, the Protection Acts were in full force. The Chief Protector had the power to send mixed-blood children to missions, having wrenched them away from their Aboriginal mothers. In this way, the mothers could continue to serve their white masters, the masters were saved any possible embarrassment, and the children were civilized with Christian ritual. If any Aborigine objected to this arrangement, the Chief Protector could imprison him or her without trial, all of which, said the law, was to save the natives from being overwhelmed by the white race. In recent years, many of those children sent to the missions have tried to find their families.
Well, the first time with me, as the story goes, is my grandpa said, "You don't take that kid," you know, so I was left. He stopped him, but then the following year, months later, he came back again, and then I was out with some other kids, and most of the old people had gone away from the station. And so Constable Bill McKinnon was able to take me, put me on the camel and take me, you know.
They also say, our portion is this. This is our portion. It's not. Notice how they don't mention eternal life, because they know they will never receive it. This is the wicked. Let's keep reading. Verse 10, let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. So these people are heartless. They don't care if you are a young black man, if you are an elderly black man. They will not care if you are a young black woman or you are an elderly black woman. This also connects us to Deuteronomy 28. They shall have no regard for the young nor the old. Very, very interesting. Let's continue. So they also live to oppress the poor, righteous man. All right? Continuing on. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. So that means that they have this power of justice and law to use against the righteous man unjustly.
Outrage growing over a troubling police incident caught on camera.
What? Bro, you do this in public? You can't tell me to walk outside.
What did he do? We just
got my family.
Talk to you, okay? But he did nothing. Y'all got the wrong person. We don't even have a black truck.
Two maskless officers approach a family eating in the food court at Lynn Haven Mall in Virginia Beach, handcuffing an innocent father of two, wrongfully accusing Jamar Mackey of credit card fraud.
Jamar, what are you doing? Y'all, we ain't here with our family.
Are you serious right now, dog?
The video of Saturday's encounter shows a police sergeant cuffing Mackey and leading him outside, allegedly because he matched the description of a suspect.
Mackey and his fiancée, Chantel Colville, repeatedly telling officers they have the wrong person.
As it all unfolds in front of their children.
In 2020.
You can have a name.
That's how I get treated, bro.
You have the right to be upset, sir.
Black Lives Matter. Y'all see why we fight.
The couple speaking exclusively to ABC News.
Basically, we just sitting down enjoying the holidays, trying to get some lunch and with my family. And next thing you know, I'm in handcuffs. No words, no explanations. It's just like, how has nothing changed? How is everything still the same? How do you still racial profile a black man with dreads that way in 2020? How do you do that? It's still happening this day.
Police say it was a case of mistaken identity.
No one wants to be handcuffed in front of his family, in front of the public, and like the officer did on Saturday, we apologize for the discomfort. A specific suspect description, including clothing and other factors, was then provided to our officers. And we know as a result that Mr. Mackey was subsequently approached and handcuffed.
Mackey's attorney says the video is further evidence of a systemic problem within police training.
Everybody in this region knows this is how you get treated. This is how black males get treated in Virginia Beach. So this is what we hope to be able to change.
Jamar and Chantel calling the experience dehumanizing and nothing more than racial profiling. They say the worst part was their 13-year-old son forced to watch as his father was wrongfully detained.
As me looking back at the video, it hurts me, man, because what if they just shot me in front of my son or tased me in front of my son, like, for no reason?
I don't know if he'll be afraid of the police now or if he'll, like, you know, just not care for them because of what he saw.
And Jamar told us when he watched that video back, he cried, thinking about other videos we've all seen of encounters with black men and police that ended so differently. He and Chantel say this was traumatizing for their 13-year-old son, and they worry about the lasting impact on him. As for the officers, the police chief says those filmed not wearing masks will be disciplined for that. Janae Norman, ABC News, New York.
Yeah, man. Live from the V-Live. About Dawson State Prison. I'm saying it again. About Dawson State. Look what I'm walking in. You see this? Y'all see this? Bro, we ain't got no help, no nothing, bro. Look at this. I want y'all to see this. Look how the shoot. I'm in the hole now. I'm supposed to be in the hole. We ain't got no help. We ain't got no police. We ain't got nobody checking. Now watch the shoe float on water. Why the is my shoe floating on the water in the room, bro? Why the am I kicking water in the room, bro? Ain't no help, bro. Hold on, this get worse. Hold on. Look at the door. God, look at the door. Look how dirty. Filthy. Water everywhere. Water everywhere. Trash out. Get me back on camera. Yeah. Free me. They locked me up and put me in a hole with no DR, no nothing. I'm sitting in a hole for nothing. I'm walking around in water when I was just working in the kitchen and I just got put in for a pre-release program. I ain't doing nothing. They don't give a about us. Look at the footage. I gotta, look at this. This shit is raggedy. I don't even have a light in the room. I gotta use my phone for the light. There is no light in the room. There's no light in the room. Free me, man. I can't make this shit, man. Cut this shit.
Step out of the car.
What do you need me to step out of the car for?
Step out of the car because I'm requesting you to.
Can you tell me why?
Because I'm giving you a lawful order. I don't have to give you a reason.
You do have to give me a reason.
Do we really want to argue about this?
We're not arguing. We're having a conversation.
Oh, yeah, I'm giving you a lawful order.
Okay, but what is it for?
I'm giving you a lawful order to step out of the car.
For what?
Ma'am?
See, you getting all flustered for no reason when all you have to do is talk to me.
If my backup gets here,
you are getting flustered for no reason.
I'm going to place you under arrest.
But for what?
For refusing to get out of the car.
What do you need me to get out of the car for?
So I can talk to you. We're past the point of you've rolled down your window now. Get out of the car. What's your last name?
Young. You need me to get out of the car to tell you my name?
Well, you didn't want to roll the window down.
I had the window down so you can hear me. You the one who was causing all this for no reason. When the window was down, no, the window was down. No, I'm not. You're being ridiculous.
You could have already left.
And you could have let me leave, but did you hear me or not?
I can't hear you now because you won't shut your mouth.
Ooh,
now, what's your birthday?
Like that.
What's your birthday? All right, fine. Hands behind your back.
No, don't touch me.
How many of my brothers out there know about the system? The system that works against you. The system that has been rigged to literally keep you down in every turn. The 94 crime bill was not a coincidence that got signed into law shortly after the Reagan era did its damage to the black community. It was all a setup. Massive incarceration, boom, free slave labor. Niggas is picking cotton in Texas in certain prisons in the South. Niggas is picking cotton. I kid you not. Niggas is picking cotton. Check this out.
Now, why you say a slave? Because some people think that, hey, once you're there, you just get a bunk bed, you get a book, and you get to just sit there in boring silence for the rest of your days.
You asked me why I said slavery?
Let's go.
Have you ever seen pick cotton?
Nah.
Where have you seen pick cotton at?
Never in my life.
A slave, though.
Oh, slave.
I was sent to pick cotton. That's why I said.
Oh, so wait. So
I was sent to see. All right.
I
ain't never seen nothing but a slave pick cotton.
Wait. So you have actually picked cotton off the cotton plant?
I have picked cotton off the cotton plant, but I get there at cotton time. Now I'm like you saying damn. I'm like, what the fuck is cotton time? If anybody tell you right now it's cotton time, you like, I don't know what the fuck they talking about. I go out here to the fields, and this is something me and you would never think exists. Right around the corner here, it's plantations of nothing but cotton. The South Empire was built on cotton, and they hadn't changed it in the 90s. We was here to pick it. And look, when I got to the field, I'm like, I'm not picking that. They drew their guns. You ask what happened.
Yeah.
You say what happened,
yeah.
Right? Oh, they trained for niggas. Oh, you one of them niggas. You think you ain't gonna pick, huh? What they call it, Kunta? What was the nigga name?
Yeah, Kunta Kinte.
Yeah, Toby.
Yeah, that's what they call him, Toby.
Yeah, oh, Toby, you think you Kunta.
Yeah.
You think you Kunta, Toby. Roll right up me on them guns, told me get down on my hands and knees or they gonna shoot me. That's what I'm telling you. They got, you are a slave. They have the right to kill you if you pose a threat to leaving this structure. No, damn. This is jail.
So
I am a slave. If I run, they
How many times you thought of running?
None.
Oh.
What you mean? You don't want to get, you know how many niggas stayed on that plantation? Do you hear what I'm saying? By day 6, I was the most best cotton picking nigga they ever had down in that motherfucker. Look here, say, look here. And I wasn't the only one. It was some stiff cotton picking niggas down there. Do you hear what I'm saying? Hey, nigga, I'm telling you the honest truth, meaning they have perfected on mentally and physically breaking niggas.
Deuteronomy 28, 48 through 50. And you shall serve your enemies, which Yahuwah shall send forth against you, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And you shall wear upon your neck a yoke of iron until he has destroyed you. Yahuwah shall bring upon you a nation from the extremity of the earth, like the swift flying of an eagle, a nation whose voice you shall not understand, a nation bold in countenance, which shall not respect the person of the aged, and shall not pity the young. So right here in Deuteronomy 28, we can see it's talking about no respect of the young nor the old, and how that connects to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. Let's continue. All right, so in verse 11, it talks about how they have this justice system to their power and to their strength. So continue on verse 12. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean, contrary to our doings. He upbraids us with our offending the law, and objecteth to our infamy and the transgressions of our education. So, according to this, it is saying that our ways are not like the wicked's ways. And this is why, when I did my teaching about should Israelites have pets and why it is unsanitary, it is heathenistic for us to have animals inside our home, sleeping on the couch and sleeping on our beds and eating off, our plates and all that stuff. That is unsanitary. But because we are in the land of captivity, this stuff has been normalized to our people. It has been normalized to have a dog in your home and drive around your dog in your car and all over the place. It's just unsanitary. But we have been taught these things, and this is why we're not supposed to learn the way of the heathen, because their ways are unclean to our ways. It also says that we object to the transgressings of their education. Their education, sour cream supremacy, white supremacy history, whitewashing of everything, revisionist history, getting us to worship their gods by making us think that it's subscribed to our book and ascribed to our covenant, to get us to worship them, to see them as superior. Continuing on. So it says here that also in verse 12 that we object to their education, the transgressions of our education. We object to it. We should be objecting to what they're teaching, what the wicked are teaching us, which is why they say the wicked cannot teach us. We are the called of the Most High. Verse 13. He professes, speaking about the righteous, the wicked speaking about the righteous, he professes to have knowledge of the Most High, and he calls himself a child of the Most High, as we do. That's pretty self-explanatory. He was made to reprove our thoughts. Now look what Christianity has done. Christianity has taught us to, if we speak out against the evil things that are being done against our people by a certain group of people, they have taught us to be quiet and turn the other cheek and ignore it. But right here, the wicked admit that the righteous were made to reprove their thoughts, reject it, rebuke it, speak out against it, call it out. Not turn the other cheek, not submit to it. But that's what Christianity has taught us, to assimilate with it. Verse 15. He, the righteous man, is grievous unto us, the wicked, even to behold. For his life is not like other men's, and his ways are of another fashion. Every single race pays attention to us. Even those of the Adamic race pay attention to so-called black people, Negroes. Everyone watches us and pays attention to us. Our ways are not like everybody else. We are different. We are different, special people, because we're the chosen of the Most High. And the world knows it, and the world is coming to realize it. And deep down inside, the world has always known. It's just being confirmed now. Verse 16, we are esteemed of him as counterfeit. So a righteous man that has his eyes open sees this wicked seed as counterfeits. Fake history, fake lies, fake movies, fake propaganda, lies, just straight up. Everything about what they tell us is straight up lies. Everything that they've used to build their empire is founded upon lies. So we see this wicked seed as a counterfeit, the righteous man. The righteous man abstains from our ways as from filthiness. Why? Because this wicked seed, their ways are filthy. He pronounces the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that Elua is his father. Let us see if his words be true. Let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. And this is exactly why this wicked seed is always testing us. This wicked seed is always trying to see how far they can push us, how much they can play in our faces before we fight back.
I'm sorry, just have a banana. Just eat the banana. Eat the banana, it's gonna be okay. Eat the banana. Eat the banana. Stick it in your mouth. 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 Stick it all the way in there. Get it in there. Get it in there. Get it all the way in. As deep as it'll go. Okay. Alright.
Kind of gerbils eat into the cheek.
That's good. Keep eating it. Suck on the banana. Oh, don't drop the banana. Keep sucking on it. You're not finished yet. All the way to the finish. Sorry.
Stem cell technology that Peter and I are investing in is called SCNT, which takes the egg of a young, perfect woman specimen, takes the egg and takes out the nucleus and puts our DNA in the nucleus. They just go in and take it out.
It's painful, right?
Huh?
Is it painful to use this?
Yeah, and this is part of this genetic greatness that we don't see in any other race on the planet. These curvy, sexy black women from Africa. You girls have a kind of a monopoly on this genetic perfection. And we want some of that. And we want some of that. And we want some of that. So, girls, for $100, we will pay you for your egg.
No, you $100, monkey.
You want it?
You're gonna pay a lot more than that.
So how much do you want for it? Let's bid. I bid $500 for you. Whatever I bid, he's gonna outbid me.
I bought about $60,000 worth of eggs.
Yeah.
If you have abortion, that's very valuable. Umbilical cord, and placenta, even your period blood is so rich with stem cells. We regard it as waste, and it actually should be. It should be captured as recycled, and it shouldn't go to waste. It's life for somebody, and it's life for mankind. The best eggs are 16 to 18 years old. Those are the best eggs. And as you get older, your eggs get weaker and weaker.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So you may not be our top candidate.
No, that's fine. I'm out with my business anyway.
Cloning yourself with the idea of making yourself immortal, I think, is science fiction, and I think it's unethical.
They've already tested this practice in mice, and mouse was fat, and mouse got six-pack, and it was jumping all the women, young, right? At first it's just everybody's safe, and after that, they're young.
Before we rise up and say we're not going to allow this representation, we're not going to support this music, we're not going to support these artists who don't care about our people. 18, for if the just man be the son of the Most High, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. So they're pushing this hard enough just so they can see if our Father loves us and cares about us. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. So constantly humbling us, constantly making our struggle harder. Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he shall be respected. Such things they, the wicked, did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness has blinded them. As for the mysteries of the Most High, they knew them not, neither hoped they for the wages of righteousness, nor discerned a reward for blameless souls. For the Most High created man to be immortal, and made him to be an image of his own eternity. Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world. And they that do hold of his side do find it. So this whole chapter is describing Lucifer, his children, and their jealousy, because Lucifer acts and speaks through his descendants. So this connects us directly to Isaiah 14, 19 through 22, when it describes these children of Lucifer, and also Genesis 3:15 and the serpent seed. Another confirmation. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys again for watching. Until next time, all praises to the Most High Yahuwah only. Shalom.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget you can support this channel by Cash App, $Malkaya Music. Also be sure to check out the Patreon for uncensored documentaries, films, deep dives, and much more content that you won't find here on YouTube. And let me not forget to say, if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that like button and tap in with us. All praises to the Most High Yahuwah, the highest. Shalom.